Let's get something straight right off the bat. When I'm under a Hyundai, transmission fluid dripping on my forehead and a customer standing over me is going on and on about some sound or the other that it just started making, I already know what kind of conversation we're about to have. Because transmissions, man, they're the soul of the car. Yeah, the engine gets all the glory, but the transmission? That's the difference between a car that feels like it's shaking hands with the road and one that feels like it hates it. I've been a mechanic for quite some time, and I've seen Hyundais roll into my bay with 300,000 miles, shifting smoother than a hot knife through butter. And I've also seen them limp in, the transmission puking out fluid with barely 40,000 miles on the clock. Here's the thing. Hyundai's journey with transmissions is a wild ride. They've made some choices over the years. I'm talking about some real head-scratchers, some transmissions that made mechanics like me rub our temples in dread. And then, they made some absolute gems, units so good that they quietly became the backbone of the brand's reliability renaissance. The big question now is, which is which? Well, I'll be helping you out with that. In today's video, I'll be getting into the greasy details of 3 of the absolute worst and 4 of the absolute best Hyundai transmissions ever. I'll be telling you everything you need to know, the cars they're in, the problems they have. And yeah, I'll toss in a couple of stories from the shop. Let's start with the bad news first. Get the pain out of the way. 3 worst Hyundai transmissions. Worst transmission 1. The 7-speed EcoShift dual clutch, DCT. Let me tell you about this one. I had a customer, real nice guy, brought in a 2017 Tucson Eco. He pulls up, gets out, and claims his engine is misfiring. So I get in. I pull out of the parking lot and it feels so off. All of a sudden, I'm feeling like a teenager learning to drive stick for the very first time. Jerk, hesitate, lurch, jerk again. I pull back into the bay, pop the hood, and the engine is purring like a kitten. It wasn't the engine, and that's when I figure it out. Honestly, I should have figured it out from the second he pulled up into my shop. It was the 7-speed EcoShift dual clutch transmission. This guy is found in a bunch of models: the Tucson, the Sonata Eco, the Veloster Turbo, from roughly 2016 to 2020. And on paper, this transmission sounded amazing. A dry dual clutch, fast shifts, fuel efficiency. In reality though, it just felt off, like a poorly manufactured machine if you'd believe that. I'm about to get into the technical stuff now, so here's what happened with the 7-speed EcoShift. Dry DCTs don't have the fluid bath to cushion the engagement. They're basically 2 manual transmissions operated by computers. In stop-and-go traffic, which is where most of us drive, they get so confused, they get hot. And they start doing that lurching, shuddering thing that makes you look like you've never driven a car before. I had a lady come in with a 2018 Elantra GTN line. Loved the car. Brought it in 4 times for the same issue. The dealership kept saying it was normal. I finally took her for a ride in my own car to show her what normal actually felt like. Her transmission would slam into second gear so hard it felt like someone rear-ended you at a red light. The final fix? You wouldn't believe it, but she had to get a whole new transmission. Under warranty, thank goodness, but she was without her car for like 3 weeks. The problem with these is that when they go, they go. No one is ever fortunate enough to get so much as a warning. You'll get the transmission temperature warning light, and then it's just a matter of time. The mechatronics unit, that's the brain of the thing, is also prone to failure, and that's a 4-figure repair all by itself. Long story short, if you're looking at a used Hyundai with this transmission, drive it in heavy traffic before you buy it. Not on the freeway, in traffic. If it shudders, you better walk away. Now before I get into some of the good stuff, we've got to get the horrible ones out the way. And yep, there are transmissions worse than this, like worst transmission 2, the 6-speed automatic A6GF1/A6LF1. Now, this one is a little controversial because when these 6 speeds worked, they worked fine. But unfortunately, fine isn't what we're after. This is the transmission that got hitched to the infamous Theta 2 engine in a lot of models. The 2011 to 2014 Sonata, the Santa Fe, the Optima. I and the guys at the shop call this one Theta 2's unlucky partner. This is the transmission I've probably rebuilt more than any other, and it's usually not its own fault. The A6GF1 and its variants were paired with engines that had a nasty habit of failing in spectacular ways. But that doesn't mean the transmission itself didn't have its own demons. Trust me, it did. Of all its demons I've had to exercise over the years, there was one that stuck out the most. That's the torque converter failure. I once had a guy tow his 2012 Sonata in. He said it started shaking at highway speeds. He thought it was the tires, balanced them, still shook. Then it started stalling when he came to a stop. He pulled into a gas station, parked it, and it wouldn't go into drive anymore. That, right there, is a classic torque converter clutch failure. The lockup clutch inside the converter disintegrates and all that debris, you know, these tiny bits of metal and friction material, goes through the entire valve body and clogs up the passages. It's like getting sand in your veins. By the time it shows symptoms, the damage is already done. I have so many war stories battling this one problem. I once had a Sonata come in on a flatbed. The engine was knocking. It was a Theta 2, surprise, surprise, and the transmission was slipping. The customer, luckily for him, was about to replace the entire engine but figured it wouldn't hurt to get the transmission checked out too. And that's how I came into the picture. Well, I had to tell him that the transmission likely failed because of the engine. See, when those Theta 2s started to go, they'd send metal shavings through the cooling system and back into the transmission cooler. The engine was trying to take the transmission with it. Basically, that poor 6-speed never stood a chance. So, if you find an old Sonata or Santa Fe from that era with this transmission and it has over 120,000 miles, you're gambling. Now, I'm not saying it's a guaranteed failure, but it's common enough that I've got a stack of repair orders probably taller than I am to prove. Steer clear. And now, for my personal worst, what have you heard about Worst Transmission 3, the 8-speed dual clutch, D8LF1? You know, technology is all about innovation, learning from past mistakes and improving. But what happens when your improvement goes horribly wrong? You see, Hyundai learned some lessons from the dry 7-speed, so they went to a wet dual clutch for the bigger cars, the D8LF1. It's in the Sonata N-Line, the Santa Fe, the Sorento, and some Genesis models. Honestly, my personal bias aside, the idea was brilliant. Wet clutches mean better cooling, smoother engagement, less of that low-speed jerkiness. And for the most part, it's a massive improvement, but it's top of my worst list because of one specific reason that makes me and every other mechanic out there want to throw their wrench across the room. This reason is the valve body. I had a customer with a 2021 Sonata N-Line. Beautiful car. Fast. He loved it. Then one day he's driving and it just loses gears. It's stuck in second. No reverse. He limps it to my shop. I scan it and the codes are pointing to a solenoid failure inside the valve body. Now, in a perfect world, you replace the solenoid. But Hyundai, in their infinite wisdom, didn't design this valve body to be serviced. It's a sealed unit. You can't buy the solenoids separately. Which means, yep, you've got to buy the entire valve body assembly. How messed up is that? That part was literally on back order for like 5 months. 5 whole months. This guy's car was basically a very expensive, very fast paperweight for nearly half a year. The dealership finally got the part under warranty, but the guy had already started looking at other brands. I'll be real with you. It's not that this transmission fails constantly. It's that when it fails, it instantly becomes a logistical nightmare. The parts availability is a joke, and if you're out of warranty, the repair bill will make you question every life choice that led you to that moment. The transmission itself is solid, but the electronic control side? Fragile and expensive. That combination earns it a spot on my blacklist. So, always take this into consideration if you're looking to switch to this transmission. 4 best Hyundai transmissions. Alright, enough doom and gloom. Let's talk about the ones that make me smile when I see them roll in. The ones where I tell the owner, change the fluid every 60,000 miles and your grandkids will be driving this thing. Starting with Best Transmission 1, the 6-speed manual, M6CF1/M6CF3. What do you look for personally in a Hyundai's transmission? Well, if you want a transmission that just refuses to die, find a Hyundai with a manual transmission from the mid-2000s to the mid-2010s, the M6CF1 and its variants. This is the gearbox they put in the Genesis Coupe, the Veloster, the Elantra, the Tiburon, all the fun stuff. I had a guy bring in a 2013 Genesis Coupe 3.8 track. This thing was beat. The clutch was so stiff I thought I was doing leg presses. But the transmission? Solid. He had 180,000 miles on it. Original transmission, original clutch. Yeah, they're old, I know that, but these transmissions are overbuilt for what they're in. They're derived from the same architecture Mitsubishi used in the Evo, believe it or not. The synchros are beefy, the shift forks are thick, and they take abuse like a champ. The only issue? Sometimes second-gear synchros get a little grumpy if you shift fast when it's cold. That's it. That's the only complaint I've ever gotten from this transmission in my life. If you're looking for a project car or a fun daily that won't leave you stranded, a manual Hyundai from this era is a goldmine. They're getting harder to find because nobody bought manuals, but the ones out there, they'll outlive the paint on the car. I've seen these behind turbocharged engines making double the stock power, still holding on with nothing but good fluid and proper care. The next transmission I'm about to tell you about is pretty much an unsung hero. Best transmission 2, the 8-speed automatic, a 8LF1. I'll need you to forget the DCTs for a second. Forget the fancy dual-clutch marketing. The A8LF1 8-speed automatic, the traditional torque converter automatic, is one of the best transmissions Hyundai has ever made. You'll find this in the Palisade, the Genesis G80, and the later model, Santa Fe and Sorento. This transmission is a joint development with ZF, a company that knows a thing or two about gearboxes. It's smooth, it's responsive, and most importantly, it's durable. And I love a durable transmission. I had a customer with a 2020 Palisade, towed a 5,000-pound camper through the Rocky Mountains, every summer, 3 years in a row. I told him to bring it in for a transmission fluid change at 50,000 miles just to be safe. He brought it in at 60,000. The fluid came out looking like dark honey. It wasn't burnt or glittery, just used. I flushed it, refilled it, and he's still towing that camper today with no issues. Hey, this is not a sign for you to go around towing heavy things and delaying on your transmission fluid change, no. But at least you know just how reliable this guy is. There's one aspect where the A8LF1 separates itself from every DCT that ever made you want to drive your car into a river. It uses a high-efficiency torque converter with a multi-plate lockup clutch. I know this all sounds like a bunch of made-up words. Well, let me explain better. The lockup clutch engages early and often, sometimes as early as second gear, to eliminate slip and save fuel. And because it's a multi-plate design, it can handle way more torque than the engine can throw at it without wearing out. I've had these converters out on the bench with 150,000 miles on them, and the lockup friction material still looks like new. Try that with some of the early Ford or GM 8-speeds. Lastly, the A8LF1 stays cool always. Look, I cannot overstate how important this is. Heat kills transmissions, period. And this transmission has a dedicated transmission fluid cooler built into the radiator end tank on most models. On the Palisade and Telluride, they added an air-to-oil cooler on the towing package. The key with this transmission is simple: service it. I don't care what Hyundai says about lifetime fluid. There's no such thing. If you own a Palisade or a Genesis with this 8-speed, change the fluid every 60,000 miles. Do that, and this transmission will hit 200,000 without even breathing hard. It's the workhorse Hyundai needed for their big SUVs, and it delivers. Best Transmission 3, the 6-speed automatic, A6MF1/A6MF2. Before the problematic 6-speed I mentioned earlier, there was a different 6-speed, the A6MF1/A6MF2. This is the one that came in the 2011 to 2016 Sonata Hybrid, the later Santa Fe, and the Azura. It's also the one that quietly underpinned the brand's reliability turnaround. This transmission is often called the Hyundai Kia 6-speed, and it's a testament to what happens when a company decides to stop messing around. It's a traditional automatic, but it was designed in-house, and it was bulletproof from day one. I've literally witnessed these transmissions come in with the pan full of water, don't even ask me how, and still shift fine after a couple of flushes. They're not flashy. They weren't built to be, really, neither do they shift like a sports car. But they shift every single time. If you want to know why this transmission survives, look at the torque converter. It's a lockup torque converter with a heavy-duty clutch that's actually bigger than it needed to be for the engines it was paired with. Most of these were bolted to the 2.4-liter GDI or the 3.3-liter V6. Neither engine made massive torque numbers, around 170 to 250 pound-feet. The torque converter was designed to handle closer to 300 pound-feet. That extra capacity means one very important thing. The lockup clutch doesn't slip unnecessarily. It engages smoothly and stays locked under cruising conditions. Less slip equals less heat. Less heat equals, you guessed it, longer life. So if you're shopping for a used Hyundai or Kia from the 2000s and you find one with this 6-speed, don't let the old transmission talk scare you. It's old, but in the good, durable way. It just works. And in a world of unreliable CVTs and finicky DCTs, that's worth its weight in gold. If you're looking at a used Hyundai from the early 2000s and it has this transmission, that's the one you want. Check the VIN, do your research, and if it's got the A6MF series, you're in good hands. And now, for my personal favorite transmission ever. Best Transmission 4, the 8-speed dual-clutch, D8F48W. I know. I just put a different 8-speed DCT on the worst list, but bear with me. Hyundai didn't stop, they kept iterating. And the D8F48W, the current 8-speed wet dual clutch found in the Elantra N, Kona N, Veloster N, and the newer Sonata N line, is truly a masterpiece. This thing is the result of years of pain and suffering. It's like Hyundai took all the complaints from the 7-speed, all the valve body issues from the first 8-speed and said, all right, let's build one that'll embarrass Volkswagen. It didn't quite do that, but they came close. I had a guy bring in his 2023 Elantra N for its first service. He was a track rat. He'd already put it through 2 track days. I took it for a test drive to make sure everything was tight, and I couldn't believe it. In normal mode, it was smooth. In N mode, it was savage. Instant downshifts, no hesitation, no jerking. It knew exactly what to do. The engineering changes matter. They redesigned the damper, improved the cooling, and most importantly, made the control logic actually work in real-world driving. The early DCTs felt like they were programmed by an engineer in a lab. This one feels like it was programmed by someone who actually drives. I've seen these take an absolute beating on track, in autocross, in stop-and-go traffic, and they just keep going. The key is the wet clutch. The fluid bath keeps everything cool and lubricated, so the failures that plague the dry 7-speed just don't happen here. If you're looking at an N model, don't let the DCT scare you. This is the one. This is the good one. Look, I've been doing this long enough to know that no transmission is perfect. Every gearbox will fail eventually if you treat it badly enough. But the difference between a car that's a joy to own and a car that's a recurring headache is knowing what you're getting into before you sign the paperwork. Your job isn't to be a mechanic. Your job is to drive. My job is to make sure what you're driving doesn't turn into a headache. So next time you're checking out a used Santa Fe or eyeing a Sonata N-Line, remember these names. Ask what's under there. Do a little digging. Because the transmission is the thing that connects you to the road. When it's good, you don't even think about it. When it's bad, it's all you can think about.